Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Kicker Rocks Podcast 2 Drink Minimum. In this episode, we were at Tony's house, and we took a look at his DVD and Blu-ray collection, and we made him defend his choices. So why are those movies still in your collection? In other words, we all have those movies, I think, that we've either seen once or they're just there collecting dust. So, Tony Marino, defend your movie collection. Was he successful? Well, you'll just have to have a drink with us and find out. Enjoy.
Sound is speeding.
Nobody listens to this besides us anyway.
You should definitely start the podcast from there because that's great. Welcome to Kicker Rocks Podcast 2 Drink Minimum. Gentlemen, cheers.
Cheers. Oh, look, no clanks tonight.
No, we got plastic cups here.
Who has plastic cups?
Apparently, the Marinos do because we're recording from the first time at Casa de Marino. Tony Marino, thank you so much for hosting.
You're quite
buddy.
welcome, absolutely.
That being said, I'm Bill.
I'm Tony.
Sergio.
Joe.
Excellent. We're minus a JT tonight, but I think we'll get by. We're gonna try to represent him properly. Tonight we're winging it. We're winging it. It's our first time recording here, and we've noticed Tony's extensive movie collection that he has in his basement, and it turns out we're going to challenge him on whether or not he should have these movies in his collection or not. So
Christ.
we're going to do this randomly. Joe, shocker, has a deck of cards with him. Just carries it around anywhere, huh?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, good. Fair enough. We're known gamblers. That's okay. So we shuffled the deck of cards. We're going to deal them out. Tony has a shelves, I should say, full of movies. There are 6 shelves altogether.
I think it's
And-
about a third of what I used to have.
A third of what you used to have?
Like, where'd
it
the rest
down.
of them go?
Goodwill, or did you throw them out?
Gave them away in Goodwill.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're
But I'm noticing here you've got 2 Donnie Darkos.
In case something
That
happens
makes-
to the first one, if it was Overwatch,
Right. Oh,
there's a
I mean,
second one.
'cause God knows you can't find it digitally ever.
Listen.
in case the second one had a different ending than Deus Machina. Yeah.
I haven't played one of these in years, but I can't bring myself to get rid of them.
Fair enough. So
That's outstanding.
Sergio's looking
It'll
at
knock you flat.
identical copies of Donnie Darko right now. So
Is there anything else you guys see that makes you go like? Is that 2 versions of What About Bob too? 2 copies of What About Bob?
Another classic that I could not give away one copy of. If I had it, I was just going to have it.
That's outstanding.
hold on.
I mean, I love What About
Hold
Bob.
on.
Hey,
Let's
stop
find.
looking
Wait,
at the shelf.
Wait, Mr.
Look at
Jaws.
you. You're trying to rig this
Hold
system.
on, Mr. How many copies of Jaws do you
There
have?
should just be one in there unless someone borrowed it.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
he doesn't have to watch that on DVD over and over.
There's
He's
one-
got that digitally, and it's always on
I
cable.
definitely have it digitally.
Always. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Joe's gonna deal out the cards, and ace through 6 are going to be the rows of the movies he has, 1 through 6. Once one of us, gets dealt that number, we're going to choose a number between 1 and, what do we say, 38. Each
Roughly
row is about
38.
38 movies. So we're going to choose a number between 1 and 38. And so we're going to go to that row, go to whatever number we pick, and whatever movie we pull out, Tony is going to defend why that movie is in his collection and talk about that movie. And the rest of us are going to either agree or disagree with our thoughts on the movie of why he should or should not have that in his collection. So
This might be bad.
this episode should probably be titled Marino Movie Madness or something like that. We'll figure out a better title later.
Sure.
But it's a completely random podcast episode. We hope you enjoy it. Let's get things started. Joe, deal them out.
And I don't get dealt in, right?
No. So
So wait,
just,
go ahead, flip them.
Oh, we got to flip me. Yeah,
Yeah,
do them
you got
face
it.
up. I got
All
4.
right.
So I'm in. So we got
Bill's
row
and I
4.
got
Oh,
6.
man. What do I do? Row 4. I'm going to go number 17. 17.
This is 2.
We'll do 17 then.
That looks interesting. What do you got there?
Row 4.
This is the
Film 17 is
the special edition DVD of Memento.
Memento. Wow.
Yeah.
Great flick.
Probably one of the best things Guy Pearce has ever done.
Well, Tony, you talk all about it first. Why do you love that movie? Why is it in your collection?
It was one of the first movies that I saw that sort of blew me away, the way that it was not just shot, but the way that it was edited. Because, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched it, it's backwards.
Sergio, there's something there really exciting you. What is that?
I love this. This is the thing that like the kids of today are not going to
They're
experience.
never going to get this.
They're never going to get the special edition DVD case. This thing, I want to take a minute to just describe this thing.
Here, go
First
ahead.
of all,
Let's go ahead and
this,
go through the process
This
of the
Memento, so Memento box, it actually is set up as if it's like
a patient's file folder.
patient's file folder, and then you pull it out, and it's got everything about the patient written on the outside of the disc, and inside it are a bunch of little pieces of paper that are clipped together like a paper clip, as if they would use inside a psychiatric ward, clipping together all of this information about the police department, like what happened to the individual who's incarcerated, like all his like lacerations and injuries and all of this stuff. It's like one of the coolest box sets I've seen. It's really, really cool. Really, really cool.
They used
all
to
right.
do stuff
Pretty
right,
rad.
kids, is what Sergio's saying.
Yeah,
Before
now,
you could just stream everything
Right.
on your Fire Sticks
Yeah.
and your Apple Plays.
You could just download this. Before it was something you could tangibly hold in your hand and
This is
appreciate,
great.
read.
Oh, it
pretty
even
rad.
flips up. It
And we
even
are-
flips up
It
like
flips
a,
up. It's like
like
a
a-
pop-up book.
Oh my God! We should take pictures and post this on the Facebook page so people can actually like look.
You have
at,
the power to do that.
Yes.
At
Well,
your fingertips.
Yeah, with
All right.
we'll do it later.
I totally digressed and got sucked into like this
No,
entire
it's-
thing, but
Right.
go
pretty
ahead.
awesome.
Let's get back to
Back to
Tony.
your-
So
Yeah,
Memento.
Tony.
Look,
Memento.
I'm not gonna lie. That's a great film, but why do you defend it in your movie collection there?
I think anyone who's seen it would be like, hey, you know what? It makes sense that he has that. Christopher Nolan. You know what I mean? Who
Yeah.
doesn't love majority of his films?
He
and
directed it, and him and his brother wrote it
it,
as
right.
well.
Yep.
Yes.
like I said, one of the best things Guy Pearce has ever done. Probably his best performance he's ever done. And
Arguably, yes.
watching a movie, other than this, the only thing that I've watched sort of out of order that I was so familiar with was something that's Tarantino-esque, you know what I mean? Where it's kind of like, oh, this was shot out of order or shown out of order, and it's kind of like you got to put the pieces together. This one is just reversed. And the whole time you're kind of confused about that at first, but it's this mystery and you're wondering what's going on and how it happened, how we got here, and then at the end you realize what's going on and it all sort of revealed. It's a really good story about a guy who suffers from a sort of short-term memory loss. He's searching for the guy who killed his wife. He's this total fucking lovable, pathetic badass at the same time. He goes as far as to
It's very film noir.
It's
in that
very film
aspect.
noir. It's definitely like old school
where the
hard-boiled.
heroes, like the hero is not perfect.
No, not at all.
Right,
Like he's
right.
definitely imperfect and jaded. But I can remember the scene where it's showing his tattoos and he's tattooing himself and to remind him of the clues and this is what happened and this is how it went down and his notes that he leaves to himself. Don't trust him. Like imagine a story or a situation where someone has short-term memory and they keep waking up knowing their wife was murdered, but they can't remember anything else. Mm-hmm. And they just are trying to solve this crime over and over and over and over again. Other than the reveal of, hey, it's backwards.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I don't want to give away
Look,
too
if you're
much.
listening to this podcast, you should know. We should have said it. But
Yeah.
spoiler alert for all these movies we're going to talk about. But, yeah.
But I won't give away like the absolute ending. But
Yeah.
there's definitely a solid. I hate saying that there's even a twist at the end. There's a really well done twist at the end.
I feel like there's a twist on the twist.
Yes, there is a twist on the twist, which is really cool and interesting. And it's just Sergio's just still so sucked into this.
He's flipping
the
through
DVD
it like
case.
you wouldn't believe.
No,
He's a
like,
kid in a
Dude,
candy
they
store
went
right
as
now.
far.
I'm
They
in,
went
I'm
as far
in.
as to put a paperclip on it. You know what I mean? Where it's like.
What I'll say,
it's
and
pretty
I
rad.
didn't mean to say this earlier. I said Christopher Nolan and his brother, Christopher and Jonathan Nolan,
Yeah.
wrote this, and I think it's very there. There is something to be said about the writing of this. So I will. I'm on the side of I'll defend this in your movie collection. It deserves a place for sure.
what I always loved about the ending was that you didn't just get the twist ending where he was trying to find himself, right? He's trying to find
There's
the killer.
there's a spoiler I was avoiding.
Right. Okay. Well, spoiler, whatever. It was out in
Okay.
2000.
Sure,
If you haven't seen
sure.
Memento by now,
It's himself, but go on because it's himself,
but
it's not.
he also forgets at the end that it's him.
He technically, but also he technically did it,
Correct.
but he didn't know
Right.
that he was doing it.
Right.
His wife forced his hand
But at the
because
e-
she was trying to cure him of
Yeah.
his amnesia. That he's gonna remember that he already gave me this shot.
Yes, and what I love about it is that at the end of the movie, you're at the beginning again, where he doesn't know that he's done this once again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
you're
sure.
back at that. You know, the audience. Here's the cool part about it: the audience knows the story, but at the end of the movie, the characters in the movie
Doesn't
Still don't know.
what's going to
they
happen.
don't know the
Yeah.
story. They don't know what's about to happen. It's this endless kind of loop that when you see the first, twist, you're like, oh, he's going to realize it was him. But he doesn't. They take that away from you.
Yeah.
The character doesn't know what's going on at the end of it. The audience knows more than the characters at the end of that film, which is what I love about it. It's a different kind of twist, I
Yeah.
think.
And the beauty about that twist too, what I really, really, really loved about this, it also taps into, like, I'm gonna assume the basic human instinct of he doesn't want to admit that he realized that he knew that he did it, so he pulls a trick on himself so that he forgets,
Yes.
because his instinct is to not accept
That he's responsible.
that he's responsible.
And there is
So
that
he
question
does-
that is he forgetting on purpose? almost?
exactly.
Similar to what's that Shutter Island with
Oh, yeah,
spoiler
yeah.
again, very similar type of story with DiCaprio. It's a Scorsese film, but DiCaprio is on this, he's a
Yeah.
detective on this island of in an insane asylum and stuff. It's the same kind of ending where is the character himself forcing himself to forget,
Yeah, yeah.
it's that kind of thing, which I think it's an interesting. It's a twist on a twist. So you find out the real thing that happened, but then you find out that the main character is still lost in the end of it. Or
Yeah.
are they really lost, or are they really are they convincing themselves that they're still lost, that they're still trying to find what really happened?
Right.
It's that kind of thing. But Memento was the first film that I saw that really did that kind of double twist,
Yeah.
if you will, ending on that. Which
Well, and I also
appreciate.
think that
and
like,
did it well.
Yeah,
It did it very well. Very well.
And in regards to writing, directing, I think that it also gave Christopher Nolan and his brother, I already forgot what his name is.
Jonathan, I don't know if it was by John, but Jonathan
it opened up their
Nolan.
doors big time, because
Oh, yeah.
if you guys ever, I encourage you to
Look,
see,
they haven't done anything since that film, clearly.
know, right?
So,
I
those Nolan brothers don't do anything at all.
I strongly encourage you guys to watch their first film when they were in college. It's called Following. I actually have it on DVD in my collection.
We've
If
talked
you
about that before.
If you guys give it a chance, it's another one of those. It's extremely well written. It's shot on 16 millimeter black and white film, but it's just like it feels like a really strong, well written, well shot student film. But it's just like a story that you've never even heard of, and it's one of those things where it's about a writer who is trying to. He spends his days following random people for inspiration.
Okay.
And ends up following somebody who just happens to be a burglar. And there's a big twist at the end where
Well, don't spoil it all.
I'll let you guys watch it. It's one of those stories where it's just like I had no idea and was not expecting this to happen the way it did, but it's in true Nolan brother fashion of just having that really good twist at the end.
Awesome.
and for being a student film, it's like it's amazing. So it's like they did The Following in college, and then they came out and did Memento, and then after that, it was just like
All the doors open.
yeah, all
Keys
the
to the
doors
castle.
open, and it's just
Pretty
like,
much.
and then you get stuff like Interstellar and The Dark Knight, which is my favorite of that
Trilogy.
Yeah.
I'm all three. I think Dark Knight is the best, but I'm all three. I love
Sure.
Batman Begins,
yeah.
Dark Knight, and Dark Knight Returns.
I'm pretty much at the point where any
that trilogy I think is fantastic.
Dunkirk.
exactly
What did I say? Dark Knight Returns.
Any
All right,
Christopher
Dark Knight
Nolan-
Rises. I'm sorry, Dark Knight Rises.
Dark Knight
Sorry.
Returns. You're confusing two different Batman.
All right,
We'll watch
we're-
anything that
Yeah.
the
I am
Nolans do.
corrected.
Nolan
I am
does,
corrected.
directors.
Well,
Yeah.
I will say this: I have not seen that
Memento?
Right?
I
It's
Oh,
worth
Memento?
it.
Oh,
And,
okay.
and I want to believe
No, and
it
I've
would
wanted
hold
to.
up.
I've actually been wanting to see it.
I think it
and
holds
I
up
just
for
never
sure.
watched
Yeah.
it. I've never
Oh,
I've
definitely
never,
still
never
holds
sat
up.
down and watched it. But now, even just to listen to you guys talk
Yeah, do
about
it.
it, I'm very
Yeah.
interested. In
Well,
watching
the
it.
best
And
thing
even
about
though
the best
even
thing
though
about
the ending,
the best thing
it's
about
not going to spoil it. It's a
the,
good film regardless.
Marino Movie Madness podcast is that everybody wins a take-home DVD to borrow and to watch said films if they
I don't
haven't.
even have a DVD player anymore.
You son of a bitch! Where
Joe,
is your
you just
art?
won.
Here's the best way I could describe
Memento.
that. Here's the best way I could describe that film to you, Joe, in Seinfeld references. So, the year that this movie came out, I want to say it was the same year. Seinfeld came out with an episode where they did the exact same thing and reversed the entire thing. It was the episode where Elaine
Was that the
was
India
getting
episode, the
was
wedding?
the India thing,
Right.
and my favorite
I
thing
love that
about
you're
that.
I love that you're putting this in Seinfeld
Yeah,
reference
because
for me.
my
'Cause you'll get it.
My favorite thing that they did in that episode was the fact that episode started with Kramer having a lollipop that was really tiny and almost done, and at the end of the episode,
It's
it was
a
like
full
it was a
giant-
full giant lollipop.
And that's the one where he's getting hit with this. He's having a snowball fight
Yes.
with FDR.
Yes, the
Yes,
episode in reverse.
yes.
Yes.
And they needed Newman to help settle the
Settle.
dispute or whatever
And
it
Elaine
was.
slept with the groom.
Yeah, it's
At the
great.
wedding.
Now, I'm always a sucker for, and Tony brought up earlier, like where how Tarantino does. I'm a sucker for out of order storytelling,
Why not?
especially when it's done
Why
in
not? Do
reverse.
something different.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, if it's done in reverse or out of order, for whatever reason, I love that. I
Yeah.
love it when it's done right. It's so good.
Yeah.
It really is.
Real
So-
quick before we move on, sorry.
Yeah.
There's only a handful of people in the cast. I'm on IMDb right now, but like you've got Guy Pearce as the lead, Carrie Ann Moss, Joe Pantoliano,
Pantoliano, yes, yes.
Mark Boone Jr. Like,
Yes.
there's it's a
People
short
know him
cast.
mostly from Sons of Anarchy, but yeah,
Sure,
Right.
but like heavy hitters and
And
like
Batman Begins.
Bobby Elvis.
yeah, like
Yeah, she's great.
there's a handful
Boone
of
Jr. 's
really
awesome.
good people in it. Small cast, but like great performance.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe, when you watch it, like it's a dark, gritty movie,
I'm good. I'm
You
good
like
with
it,
that.
though.
but hard boiled as hell. Like definitely, like you said, Bill, that whole film noir thing. Yeah,
Very cool.
nice. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
So-
All right.
So moving on. So Joe pulled a six.
I pulled a
but
six.
feel
Now here's
like-
the question:
I
Do we
feel
draw
like-
again?
I feel like we draw again.
I feel like you go between, cause since I had mine, now you go between just you and Sergio,
Sergio and I
and whoever
draw-
gets the first
Sergio and I
ace
draw
through
again.
6. Yeah.
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 So flip them up though, upwards,
Right.
so we can see.
So Sergio,
8, no.
8.
10, no.
10.
keep going.
Sergio gets a
4.
4.
And I had a seven.
Row
So
4
Sergio
again.
is up. Row 4.
Row 4,
again.
pick a number between 1 and 38, Serge.
2.
2.
Ooh.
He's going low.
Yeah.
What do we
Same
got?
row.
Same row.
Oh no, I haven't seen this movie in years. I'm not going to be able to talk about it, but I remember enjoying it. Intermission.
What?
Yeah, the reason I got this movie when I originally rented it from Blockbuster, the purchase was from Hollywood, if you take a look at the DVD case, was because Cillian Murphy was in
You got to
it.
explain this for the kids who are not
What's
listening. but,
Blockbuster and Hollywood?
What's Blockbuster and what's Hollywood?
All right, so, oh man, God, I wish you picked something else. I haven't watched this movie in years.
I've never seen it.
But I couldn't part with it. So, Blockbuster Video was a place where we used to have to go to rent VHS and then DVDs. See, kids, in the olden days, when we wanted to watch movies, we had to go to a store to rent them, bring them to our house, watch them, and then return them within 24 hours. Otherwise, there'd be something called late fees. Late fees are similar to what you kids get on your Discover cards that your parents yell at you about. So, the movie Intermission, I first saw because Cillian Murphy was in it. I've been a big fan of Cillian Murphy for the main reason, 28 Days Later, and then I started checking out everything that he'd been in before and after. So I went ahead and rented this movie. I really enjoyed it. It's another kind of dark, gritty heist movie. And when it went on sale, when Hollywood was closing, I went ahead and bought the DVD, and I haven't been able to part with it. And that is why it is on my shelf.
Fair enough.
Basically, Cillian Murphy, from what I can remember, I haven't watched this movie in 10 years.
It's got a great cast.
It's got a huge cast, and it's basically, I keep talking about Cillian Murphy, but Colin Farrell is one of the other bigger characters in it.
Right.
He's basically his sidekick, from what I can remember.
Yes.
They work together, and they are, I don't want to say thugs, but bank robbers, heistmen, con men, you know what I mean, looking for a quick fix. There's a police officer who's been trying to come after them. He's on their tail. Oh, God, I wish I watched this more recently. I'm just rambling from what I can.
Wait,
I love
hold
it,
on,
though.
hold on.
If the audience can see how excited your face is, because I know you want to watch this right now.
I'm
Just
starting to remember it, and I'm like, oh, and
It's really good.
There's this really weird, awkward bit where there must be something in Britain or the UK where there's a sauce they use called brown sauce, and they're going to drink tea or coffee, and they don't have anything to put in it, and they decide to put brown sauce in it, and everyone thinks they're nuts, and Colin Farrell tastes it, and he's like, oh my God, that's delicious. And then they go on putting this brown sauce, it seems like a steak sauce or something, and they keep putting it in all of their drinks, and that's one of the bits that keeps standing out in my mind.
Is Cillian Murphy in it?
Yeah, I'll say that again. Yeah. Yes.
Well, first of all, I'll say I have not seen this film.
Nor have I.
But
Nor
on
have I.
cast alone, I want to see this film.
So I'm reading. I'm on
give it a go.
IMDb.
Thank you, Joe, because I need that right now.
The descriptions
Go
that
ahead.
they give, like the little synopsis.
Yep.
The first one on here says a variety of losers in Dublin have harrowingly farcical intersecting stories of love, greed, and violence.
Sounds about right.
Longer description, there's three of them on here, is Intermission is an urban love story about people adrift and their convoluted journeys in the search for some kind of love. When a desperately insecure and emotionally inarticulate John breaks up with Deidre to give her a little test, his plan backfires, leaving her heartbroken and him alone and miserable. Through chance and coincidence, their breakup triggers a roller coaster ride of interweaving escapades in the lives of everyone around them. Intermission presents a slice of life, the passage between breaking up and making up, exploring how our lives intersect, and the power we all possess to affect the lives of those around us.
Well, wasn't that just lovely?
Yeah, and then there's a much longer one.
That's
That's
that,
good
that
enough,
one was,
Joe.
that
Yeah, I
one
was not going to read the longer
that
one.
one was pretty long.
I'll admit, well, one, I like the fact that this is a Irish film. I haven't seen many Irish films. The entire thing was shot in Dublin, and it's a Irish director and Irish writer. Makes me want to watch it more. And that cast is pretty phenomenal. So I definitely think I'm going to go watch this sooner than later.
Would you like to borrow it?
You know what?
What's
No.
the matter? The quality of the DVD is not good enough for
Yeah.
you? Isn't that a shame that
we're gonna-
DVDs aren't?
We're
It is
gonna
on
we're gonna
Prime.
have that conversation about how I've got a 4K TV now, and everything I do needs to be 1080p or higher,
Sure.
which is, sounds very snobbish.
I will say that
but-
I've noticed that
Super
on
snobbish.
here it does say that this was an IFC film, and as a kid that was something that always caught my eye in the video
Yeah.
store.
Oh, sure.
Where if I saw that it said IFC, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, independent film.
Yeah.
Independent film. I love independent films. I want to make independent films, and that was one of those things that
Yeah.
got me looking at those.
And it's funny.
Still love IFC to this day.
Sure,
absolutely.
absolutely.
For that reason. For that reason.
And it's funny that you guys say that, because that's how I feel about every time I see a Miramax film. Because like when I was in college / going like late high school going into college, that's when you see like all these independent films being Miramax films, and I was just like, oh my God, it's Miramax. It's gonna be a really cool, like, not a big budget Hollywood like movie. It's gonna be something good and independent and fun. So I'm sure that's the way you guys feel about IFC is how I feel about every time I used to see Miramax. And nowadays, like Miramax is just like any other big
Yeah,
budget
it's
Just
studio.
like anybody else.
And also associated with Weinstein.
Yeah.
So
With Weinstein.
yeah.
But in the '90s,
You're referring to like Kevin Smith and like those
Kevin
films because
Smith,
those always
Spike
stood
Lee.
out as
Yeah.
those were Miramax
yeah.
films. I
The
would-
No, we
'90s
gotcha.
was Miramax's heyday.
yeah,
I will say.
we're gonna get Me Too'd on this podcast. That's okay.
I want to say something. I've been going through the IMDb cast and like Colin Farrell, Kerry Condon, Cillian Murphy. We said Brian
Kelly
O'Byrne.
McDonald.
Yeah, Kelly McDonald's incredible in it. She plays like
Amazing.
the love interest. But I will, as scrolling through, I saw Shirley Henderson plays Sally, who I want to say is Kelly McDonald's sister in it.
Okay.
She has this smaller, awkward role in it, and it's amazing. And she's worried about the mustache that she has growing as this younger girl, and it's this really sort of sad little character that just pops up in this thing, and it's awesome. So when you watch it, like, look forward to her because she's great.
For
She's
the nerds
really
out
great.
there, Moaning Moona in the Harry Potter series.
There you go.
That's who he's talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So I'll say this: since none of us have seen that film, which I do now want to, and I will, we have to defend it. I think.
Of course, we don't have
It's in your collection.
We don't have a basis to not. Because we don't know.
That's true. You can't
We
just
can't
rip
argue
it.
with it.
I can't argue with
because-
you. I can't argue with you. Well, for the first film though, did we defend or we pretty much defended?
Yeah, you guys.
Memento
you
was
guys-
pretty much should
you
be a
and
Joe
Sergio
couldn't knock it,
defended
Yeah.
and you guys loved it.
All right,
Right.
so you're 2 for 2, Tone.
And
So,
actually, now these are two that I haven't seen, and now I'm
Now-
intrigued enough to watch them both.
They're
Joe,
both really good.
So let's
now
see
you got to
what
deal
row I
yourself.
get.
Deal yourself. We got an 8.
See.
We got an 8.
First row,
No,
first row.
one.
Don't look, don't
I
look.
can't look.
Row
First
one.
You
row.
little cheater.
First row.
Let's go with number 32.
That's probably the last one. Oh, no,
Wow.
no, it's not. That's right. Okay, so.
Row 1.
1, 2, 3,
Film 32. Here we go.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It's live.
Do we count these
Yes, we do.
cartoon ones?
No,
Yeah.
No,
those are
why
TV
not? I
shows.
don't know.
Those
Joe
are TV
reading
shows.
time. What do you want to talk about while he's counting?
13, 14.
I don't know that we should be dismissing TV shows. We could talk about it.
I
They're
think we could
DVDs.
too. It's all random, but we're they're changing the
It's
rules. as we
hilarious.
go.
32.
Is Brick?
Well, it's
Get
breakfast.
out of here.
I want to talk
Good
about that.
job. Yeah, grab that film. That's
Are we
amazing.
3 for 3 on movies I
That
haven't
is
seen?
Wait,
that
you haven't
is
seen-
random.
I thought,
haven't
I thought we
watched
made
this?
you watch Brick.
Yeah, we all
didn't see
shared
Brick?
this around. Like this movie is
This
great.
exact DVD has been passed at almost
Maybe I
every.
did watch it.
Remember
Dude.
Sick
Talk
Rock,
about
man?
Refresh
You know
me.
you have seen Brick. You had to.
Oh, it's so fucking
So
Which,
good.
if you're listening and you have not watched Brick, I will tell you this.
Yeah.
Pause the podcast right now.
go watch.
Brick, and then restart.
Before Ryan Johnson was hated on by Hollywood.
Oh, for what? For the second Star Wars movie that
Yeah.
just came out? Yeah, whatever. He's great.
He's great.
Ryan Johnson is great. The Last Jedi is not all that bad. Stop whining.
It's
Brick is a
not bad at all.
fantastic movie.
Brick is
So,
fantastic.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember it now.
There you go. It is a modern day film noir
Another film noir.
starring
What's the rumpus?
JGL,
As the kids call him, right?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
GL.
I love how you think that that's what the kids call him. I'm pretty sure you call him that.
I may have coined that, and that's fine. I'll admit that. But he's fantastic in this film. There's a lot of good performances in there, but we know I'm a sucker for film noir. This is a film noir set in modern day, at least in the 2000s. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the lead detective, I guess, as
Yeah.
it were, in this case.
He's looking for his damsel in distress.
Oh man, it is everything stereotypical about a film noir set in modern day, but it's glorious.
And it's
The
set in a high school
way-
setting.
Yeah, my
Yes.
high school
It's
setting.
high
is
school.
The way
best part
it's
of
the
it.
way it's done, the way the story told, the way the story is told,
So
is
good.
perfect. It has a bunch of great lines. The story is solid. It's a lot of fun. There's a good enough twist. I think it's a very fun movie. So if you haven't seen Brick, watch
It's
Brick.
definitely worth watching.
Brick.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is This is his pre-Christopher Nolan days.
This is what, 2005,
2005.
6?
So this is
2005,
post Third Rock from the Sun when he still had the long hair, but
Indeed.
before he started getting any major motion picture traction in Hollywood.
Yes.
And this was one of those films that was just kind of like, the first time you saw it was like, holy shit. Like,
It's one of my favorites,
Kids
which is
got
why
chops.
that this is literally like we did not pre-plan this.
if we
That
could
was
have
so
planned this,
random.
this would be one that we would have picked.
Yeah, if we planned this, we would have picked this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is wild that Brick was picked. So, I love this film.
Yeah, I'm a big fan myself. So that's why it's on
But-
the shelf.
Yes, but you keep going. Tell us about the story. Tell us about the film.
I think we kind of went through it, man. It's definitely kind of that old school
Yeah.
detective film noir.
I love that it's set in modern day, but has that film noir, old school, like 1920s dialogue.
Yeah, it still has all the lingo that you
Yes.
love. You know, as we
There's-
said, the "What's the rumpus" line.
There's a
I'm
point where he
staring-
says, "I have daggers in my eyes."
I'm staring daggers
Because he's saying, "I'm tired." Yeah, it's great.
It's and everyone's kind of got their own. The guy who's kind of in charge isn't called the Kingpin, but he's called the Pin.
Yes.
Tugger's the tough guy. The Brain is the one who's sort of. You've got all these sort of crime syndicate names,
yeah.
but all these kids are
But they're high school
kids.
kids, yes.
There's a scene where they show up at
Imagine
the Kingpin's
Sunset
house.
Boulevard, but in high school.
Right, high
That's what
school.
you got. That's this film.
There's a scene where they get to where he goes to the Pin's house, and they go upstairs, and the mom comes in the room, and she's like, "Do you
Right.
kids want cereal?" And
Mom,
they like
get outta
sit
here.
down. And
I'm
they're-
doing something.
Yeah, they're like down. They're like at the kitchen table eating cereal,
Oh,
and
it's
the mom's
great.
in and out of the room. But
That's
like,
right.
there's it's.
But they're
it's-
having serious talk.
Yeah, and like it's funny because like when you watched it, like there wasn't a big criminal enterprise going on at my school when I was in high school, but there's a lot of things
But there
going
could have
on in
been.
school now.
There could have been.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's a big thing about drug cells and rival gangs
Yeah.
and. They hit me and I got to hit them back now. And all this guy's trying to do is find his girl, and he's following these clues. Basically they find not find his girl, find what happened to his girl. They tell right off the bat that the body's been found. You know what I mean? Something
And
happened.
there's a femme fatale in it.
Yeah, there's the femme fatale. Yeah, there's all these characters, but this body's been found. His girl's gone. They tell this story, and the more they tell this story, this wasn't his longtime girlfriend or something. This was a girl he was maybe interested in, but was maybe nice to him. Maybe the first person who's been nice to him in a long time. So he feels the need to go down this path and to figure out what happened to her because he kind of feels like he owes it to her. Whether he does or not, he feels like he's got to go on this journey.
It is everything that you think a film noir should be, set in a modern day high school setting, which
Yeah.
is awesome. And I love the fact that it's not shot modern. They use there's modern day references, but all the dialogue, all the writing is film noir-esque dialogue.
Sure,
To a
it-
T.
If you
So
gave
you've got
this
young
script-
18-year-old kids going like, what's the rumpus? There's
Right.
daggers in my ass, stuff like that. It's great. It's great in that respect. What are your thoughts on this film? Because I know you've seen it.
Brick was the movie that basically told me Joseph Gordon-Levitt is a kick-ass
Yeah.
actor.
Kids got chops.
It definitely turned me around. It brought him from
Third Rock from the
Third
Sun.
Rock from the Sun to holy shit, this kid could act. So for me, it was just so well written, so well performed, and the best part about this film is the fact that you are able to lose yourself in the story to forget that it's high school kids and enjoy this film noir genre and letting these two very different worlds collide and you're just as a viewer you're just running with it.
You just want to know the story.
And
You're not
That's all you
focusing
wanna
on
do.
the
Yeah.
high school thing. You're
Yeah.
focusing on this is a
you're
story.
you're
Yeah.
focusing on the story
Yeah.
and forgetting it's high school kids and forgetting this is a 1930s style film noir.
You
and
want to
you're
know
just-
what really
and
happens.
you want to know what really happens. And like, as filmmakers, we should want to thrive to achieve that emotional attachment for a viewer to just forget everything. No rules apply. I'm just focused on the story, and this movie does that. Like, you just lose yourself into the story, and that's what I love about
So
it.
Ryan Johnson, if you're listening, come work with us.
Huge fan.
Come
Huge
work with
fan.
Kick
I
Rack.
doubt that's gonna happen, Bill.
No, hold on. We love your work. Come work
You know,
with
this
us.
might be one of those films that I always love, like old school, hard-boiled film noir stuff. But this
Yeah.
might be the film that's said to us, like, "Hey, we could do a modern one if we wanted to."
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a proof point that you can take any genre, you could take any two genres,
Turn them on their heads
and
and
put
combine them. Yeah.
combine them,
Mash them up.
as long as you do it well.
100%.
Yeah,
I mean, and this was 2005, so if we really checked what came out then, that was still during. I mean, it was late 90s, early 2000s, but like the whole high school movie thing. I mean, it's still happening now, but like. It was maybe it just seems like it was happening a lot because we
what
we
was
just got out of high
American
school.
Pie?
Yeah,
what,
but
like so. What'd you call him? JGL.
JGL.
So he was.
Yeah.
He's in 10 Things I Hate
Trust
About
me,
You.
that's what the kids are
and
calling
then
him.
it's like he's
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
Brick.
I mean,
it's
let's
like,
not
you know-
forget H2O.
Yeah. Where he died right away. But
Was he? I don't remember that
Right.
movie.
he dies within the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
But he's
so young.
credited in the opening credits,
Yeah,
so you know
which
it's
is
great.
It was like introducing.
Yeah.
Was that the third one?
I
So
feel
do
like
we have any
after
other
this,
films?
it
It
took a
was.
while
We can
before
make
he did
Tony
anything
choose his
major.
own. I think
Yeah.
we'll do
Should
that.
we do one more? Or should we wrap it up?
One more with Tony chooses his own.
Okay.
Let's do one more.
Oh,
we got
Tony
time.
gets to pick?
We got time. Yeah, we'll deal Tony. Deal him in, so to speak.
He's looking right now at.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just got to check.
checking out
Yes.
JGL's.
So he was doing Third Rock till 2001. Then it was two video games, Treasure Planet, a movie called Latter Days, Mysterious Skin,
Which
and then
Treasure
Brick.
Planet, I will say, is also great. But
So Brick happened. Then he was in an episode of Numbers, the movie Havoc, which is interesting.
Havoc is interesting.
Shadowboxer, The Lookout. That's him and Jeff Daniels. Where he's the kid. I think he's hard of hearing. But then Stop Loss, he kind of just sort of turns up from there. Brick is the movie that sort of showed it. Like you guys said, he has chops.
Brick leading
and
to
he can do
Looper
this.
and
Not
stuff.
H2O?
and- Well,
When
like
was
what I-
H2O made?
That was
98
before.
That was before
Third Rock.
this.
Before Brick?
Or
Before
during
Brick.
Third Rock.
before.
Oh yeah,
Brick.
H2O was 98. He played Little Jimmy.
But what I want to say
Oh,
about
we
Brick,
did an episode of that '70s show too.
Yeah, so H2O was before 10 Things I Hate About
I
You.
remembered what I was gonna say when I drifted off there. I remember. I feel like Brick at the time it came out was, and you mentioned like there were a lot of high school films in that time, and yes, I just feel like it was the only film of its kind that came out of that time, at least that I know of, that was as unique as that. I think it had its own feel to it. You know, it was that film noir, but set in a high school setting. I think it was really, a risk to take to shoot a film like that and to tell that story in that setting. And I think it was the first time that we'd ever seen anything like that, where you could mix two genres of the high school movie, so to speak, with a straight up film noir and put them both together and have a good story and have a good film out of
Sure.
it. I think, I think it was unique in that respect, and there was really no other film like it when it came out. So that's why it stands out to me after all these years.
There's a lot going on in 2005. I will
For
say
sure.
I find it interesting that his co-star Heath Ledger from 10 Things I Hate About You, that same year that he was doing Brick, did Brokeback Mountain, which are two like
Yeah. Again, no other movies were doing that when
that
those
at
came
the time,
out.
where it was
Yeah.
kind of like game changer
Yeah.
for them
They
as
were.
actors, where
They
it's
were.
like, hey,
Right.
they're capable of this, which is wild. So
Very well. Yeah. Very true.
So we're dealing Tony in here.
Yeah,
I guess
Tony,
I
it's
guess
time
I'm
for
up.
you to pick your own poison, man.
in my own home, you do this to me.
So you got a 10. You got a Jack.
Yeah, that's right.
6. Row 6.
Bottom row.
6.
Pick a number.
22. You already
So
picked
now,
22,
do you want me to?
No.
Here.
622.
No, here. Let me do it.
622.
No, oh no, I don't know what it's gonna
Hand it to
be.
you.
Remember,
Joe-
if it's
Joe
a,
is counting for you
if
right
it's,
now.
if it's a double feature, it counts as 2, or a triple feature, or like a trilogy.
Well, we're just going to pick it as, we'll count as 1. We'll count
You
as
pick
1.
22.
22.
22. What do you got, Joe?
Oh my
Oh,
goodness!
is that the original?
It's the Attack Pack.
No.
It's all the first four.
No.
It's 4 Tremors films,
Ladies and gentlemen,
Unaware.
Tremors.
Unaware. I just picked Tremors.
4 Tremors.
We don't need
films.
4.
That's awesome.
We can just talk about Tremors, and this is
Talk
going to be
about-
great.
If we were to rule that
The
ineligible,
first one.
we have another double feature:
That's a lot of double features.
Troll and Troll 2.
Hold on. Okay,
man.
that's for a whole different podcast.
Oh,
but
wait.
first of all,
The next one, if we ruled those 2 ineligible due to the pack, this is one I can get down with.
No.
Tombstone is very good.
We go with the original pick.
but we're going with Tremors.
2, which was Tremors.
All right, look. Here's the thing. I am going.
This has been talked about in the podcast before.
It has
by me, I
been.
feel like.
Here's the thing. I will defend
Tremors, the original.
Tremors.
But the fact that you have
I will. The fact that
Hold
you
on.
have 1 through 4 in
Hold on.
one DVD
Do you
box
know what
set.
it's called? It's the Tremors Attack Pack.
No.
That is what it is
No.
titled.
That's
Why
right.
do you have that?
If you take a look at the extras on the first Tremors, it's the behind the scenes
Yeah.
where they do a lot of
have-
the awesome
Oh,
special effects.
so the-
Is it? Go ahead. Defend yourself, Tony.
So the special
defend
features,
yourself.
the special features included for the first Tremors, the making of Tremors, exciting outtakes, groundbreaking featurette,
Don't care.
the theatrical
Don't care.
trailers, cast profiles, production photos.
Don't care.
There's really nothing else after that.
He has one
Ooh, there's
one movie
director's
and
commentary.
3 movies that what? Why do you have?
Director's commentary of Tremors 4: The Legend Begins.
So
I have to feel like this was another video store.
No,
pick.
it's not. Someone had my copy of Tremors. I was out. This was on sale.
Yeah.
I got the original copy. It came with all the other ones. The original copy came with the featurette and the special effects behind the scenes stuff.
Oh, so that copy was more perfection
are
for
you
you?
just-
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Bill.
Yeah,
Are
I
you
like
just
it.
trying to fight one because you haven't fought one yet?
Oh, I'm fighting 3 movies there.
Right.
I will agree
I'm
that
with you.
Tremors should be in your collection. I'll agree with that. But 2 through 4?
Yeah.
Oh, please.
Oh, no, but the special
please
features.
defend those.
I won't. I've been on other podcasts talking about how they're shit, and the first one is the only good film.
So you couldn't just buy a single.
This one was on sale. The whole point is that I picked the number. Joe pulled Tremors. I don't need to defend
Tremors Attack
Tremors.
Pack.
The
No, you
Attack
don't
Pack
have to
I pulled.
defend Tremors.
But Tremors, the original, is an absolutely
Can you also talk about
fantastic
the-
sci-fi action horror movie.
Agreed.
Can you talk about the texture of the cover?
Oh yes, that's true. With the Attack Pack, you get this embossed cover showing the Graboids' leathery skin. Oh yeah.
I picked that up, and that was the
All right,
first.
let me touch the graboid. Oh,
Not only is it
oh
a,
wait, hold on, wait. I get it. I get
not
it now.
only is it a raised embossed print, but it's also got a spot varnish so that it shimmers with the light.
It does
as you
shimmer.
tilt
It does shimmer in the light.
Yeah.
Get some
I know
good
my
now-
printing.
shimmer.
I know my printing.
Ooh, even the letters.
They're raised lettering.
So
Guys, when I buy Attack Packs,
wonder
I don't mess
more-
around.
Here's the
that
thing.
printing
Did
process
you go
Here's the
is
thing.
not cheap.
Did
So-
you go upstairs to get chocolate?
That's the whole reason why I left the room.
And you didn't bring any for the rest of us?
No,
So the
why would I?
reality of this is, Tony, now I have to question this.
Yeah.
Did you just like how this thing looked?
No.
And
I
the fact
bought
that it was called Attack Pack?
because someone has my other copy of Tremors, and I obviously never got it back because
Right. I think
I
that
wouldn't
was.
have.
I think he gave the original away.
I mean, Tone of all. Here's the thing too, which
of all people to have this.
yeah, if you guys are listening, like if you know Tony, of all the random films you could have picked right now, the fact that your Tremors 4-pack comes up is amazing. Because I know you're like me, and I will defend the first one for sure. The first
Absolutely.
one's great sci-fi, great horror.
2, 3, and 4 are
Fun.
awful.
The sequels,
Dude, I believe this is my choice for sequels I hate. I think it was I think
the
I
only
said
saving grace
anything Tremors.
did this cost less than just buying
Yes.
regular Tremors? It did?
Yes,
Okay.
it had
Again,
to.
I think the case.
Then I might
and the
defend it
special
in that
features.
case.
The special features.
Special features I'm in that for too. I like
claiming
that.
the special
Have you guys ever
features.
seen the behind the scenes features for First Tremors? It's awesome, dude. where they talk about the use of green screen and that
That's awesome.
half of it's awesome. Half of the special effects of the full size drummer come out of the ground are hand puppets on stages where they come up through the ground.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk
awesome.
about that then,
It's
because
awesome.
that's one of the last great sci-fi films, I think, to go with practical effects.
Practical in camera stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, maybe I was exaggerating saying one of the last.
No, but like CGI
not one of the
is-
last, but it was at a time when I feel like, and I still feel like to this day, sometimes practical works better if you have the right makeup.
Oh yeah.
And practical effects. It works better than CG. It's in fact in horror movies, I think, scarier than CG.
CGI is faster and cheaper
Yes.
these days.
Yes.
Are you gonna pay a full makeup crew to do
Practical
something,
effects-
or
Look better though. I still think
yeah,
that.
100%.
I do. And I think Tremors was, there were puppets, right?
Yeah.
The Graboids were puppets, but did you ever know that?
It looks awesome.
They look awesome.
There's a couple scenes in it that there's really bad green screen, and it's not really with them. It's with some of the actors that's in a scene with them. I don't know if it's Fred Ward or which character it is. Hold on. No, sorry, it's not Fred Ward. It's Michael Gross. When he's fighting them.
Who's in like all of them.
Who's in all of them?
He's the
only
elephant
character
guy.
he's the only character.
Yeah.
So because he was married.
He's
Mr.
Mr.
Tremors.
Tremors.
He was married to Reba. They were husband and wife.
Yes,
but they were like the gun-toting.
Yes.
The
Get the elephant gun.
The gun enthusiast. Yeah. You didn't even get penetration with the elephant gun.
Which is quite the
But he's in. Michael
Family
Gross is
Ties.
in.
Oh yeah.
Michael Gross is in every Tremors, though, correct? He's in, or almost.
I haven't watched the last two, but I think he was in the last
two
one.
more.
The
Why
last
not? You
two.
won't.
God.
You have the first
No,
one.
there's
two
more. Jamie Kennedy was in the last one.
Oh,
He's in the first four, though, right? At least he's.
Yeah, he's in all of them. Even
He's
the one
the
that
one,
there's,
like,
there's
missing
one,
link in all
There's
of them.
one that goes back in time, like to old,
Back
the
to
old West,
Perfection.
and even he's in it. He's
Which,
like
if you didn't get my perfection joke,
There
now
it
you
is.
do. Now you do. It was
It's
a
the
stretch.
name of the town.
It was a stretch.
But Michael Gross is on screen, and there's like really bad green screen where
Okay.
he's just sort of in there shooting at it. It doesn't look right, but like the rest of the effects are pretty awesome, man. There's this scene where
Even in the sequels you're talking?
No, just the first one. I couldn't tell you anything about the sequels except they're awful. And then they have
Can I
No, but
tell
the
you,
first one, you're absolutely
gentlemen,
right, man.
it was awesome.
It was there.
So he was in Tremors 5 in 2015. Are you aware?
Yeah,
Tremors-
Kevin Bacon signed on.
Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell was released in 2018.
Wait,
No, is that
No,
on
is that the
Netflix?
Jamie Kennedy
Probably
one?
on Netflix.
no, Kevin Bacon signed on for something I just
He
read.
did?
Tremors: A Cold Day in Hell released in 2018.
It's Jamie Kennedy.
No, Michael Gross.
And
Wait, is Bacon coming
Oh
back
yeah,
for
Jamie
another
Kennedy
Tremors?
is in that one too.
yeah, that's the one that Jamie Kennedy is in. No, I read something a couple months ago where Kevin Bacon signed on for a series or
A
something.
Tremors series? No way.
Let's look at that.
Oh, you take my money. I'll watch that. I would.
I don't know if it's
Because, no, to Tony's
There's
point, that
upcoming
first one, I
projects.
love practical effects.
Oh yeah,
Oversee, and I think what we can do nowadays with CGI is amazing.
It's a TV movie.
Okay.
Tremors, a TV movie.
Bacon,
Kevin Bacon. It's
Yes.
a television reboot of the film.
beautiful.
yeah. Are you in the IMDb?
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
Does
Who
it have
signed
the
on for
big
that?
ass?
Here's
Is
your
Fred
cast.
Ward on it or no?
Fred Ward is on there.
Yeah.
Fuck yes.
Rumored. It shows that he's rumored.
Well, you got to have then.
I want
What's
them
his
to bring
face?
everybody back, man. Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, Michael Gross, Reba McEntire. I
You
don't
gotta
know
have
if she ever.
Michael Gross.
Yeah, well, you'd have to if he's all.
Reba should do it.
I don't think.
Why not?
I don't know what happened to
Doesn't
her
look like she
character in
is.
the story because she wasn't in the sequel. But I can remember when I was
First
a
one,
kid.
she didn't die in the original.
No, but she also made a statement after that she had to like use a disgusting porta potty in the desert, and she would never be in a movie again or something. Like that was
Oh,
her
really?
first bad experience or something. I can remember.
That was a behind the scenes thing.
No, that was something that was like in a magazine or something. I can remember reading
all
that.
right.
Man, dude, the first Tremors is so goddamn good.
Listen to this, and going to just to extend this conversation a little
Sure.
further. Recently, have any of you guys watched The Chilling Tales of Sabrina?
Oh no!
I have
but
not
Netflix.
watched that yet.
I feel like was that on what you're watching? Was that the podcast that we did?
I did not mention that, but I have
Okay.
watched that whole season.
How is it?
I like it a lot.
Thanks.
It's very good. It reminds me a lot of, and if you're fans of this, if you're fans of Buffy the show, not the movie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you would like the Chilling Tales of Sabrina on Netflix right now. It reminds me a lot of that, and
Yeah.
it uses. There's some CGI, sure, but it uses a lot of practical effects. There's an episode in particular in the middle. I can't remember if it's 5 or 6 or whatever. But there's a demon or something, right, in the episode that is clearly an actor that just has, like, prosthetics and makeup and just looks creepy as all hell, and it sells. And there's no CGI whatsoever. No special effects. It's all in camera,
In-camera's the way to
all
go.
practical effects, all makeup, and it's scarier than anything that CG could come. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's something about a practical effect that where if it looks real, it scares you more than a CG as good as our technology
CGI
is
is
now.
never going to be, no matter how good it is, it's never going to be
No,
as
but
good
a
as
practical
in-camera
effect where
effects.
if makeup is done right, oh man, there's something just that extra little twist that's just real about it.
Sure, and there's times when it's
It
called for
freaks
when
you
it's
out.
not. What was the one with all the blue people with unobtainium?
Oh,
The mega one.
Avatar. Yeah.
Avatar couldn't be made with practical effects. It's not possible.
Sure.
The budget would have been somehow more than it already
And I
was.
think it's an amazing looking
but
film. Yeah.
you know, it was done really well,
Sure.
and it looks great. But like everyone knows, the whole thing was CGI, and you knew that watching it, but it was
Yeah.
still enjoyable. But when you have something that's real and real actors, and then you pepper in CGI, and then you overdo it, I think
Yeah.
that's what kind of kills it, and that's where practical effects will always.
I think,
Dominate.
especially in the realm of horror, I think practical effects are
Sure.
always going to be more realistic and therefore more frightening
Yeah,
than CGI.
which
I
was
really
a huge
do.
part of Tremors, and that's
And
why
that was that. I know, and that's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
That was a huge part of the original Tremors. Is that it was practical effects. It was puppets, like you said. But do
Yeah.
you even see puppets when you watch that
No, not
film?
at all. You look right past it.
You
It's
go for the ride with him, and you see there's these long tentacle
Graboids.
graboids coming out that are grabbing people and taking them under.
Yeah.
Taking them underground. You know, you don't see a puppet for a second in that film.
And that's something
you
that's great
believe
about this.
There's these giant worms under the ground that are going to eat
the
me.
first half of the film, you don't see what's coming to get you, and
You
that's
just
what's
see-
scary.
yeah, you just see,
It's
like,
let's go to
totally
Jaws. It's the Jaws effect. The opening
There it
scene,
is.
you don't see it, and that was a happy accident. But you don't see it, and you can't see underwater, and it gets you. This is a
CGI
Jaws on
Jaws,
land
yeah.
where it's you can't see it, but it's killing people and it's taking them, and you don't know where it's at. And that's one of those things where it can come up and get you in at any point. Maybe that's
That's-
why I like Tremors so much.
That's fantastic. I just
Yeah.
thought of that too. It's Jaws in the sand.
It's Desert
That's
Jaws.
what it is.
Jaws.
Desert Jaws.
Desert Jaws.
Tremors is Desert Jaws. And what better place to end this podcast?
Perfect, because we've been going on for a while.
Look, this was Tony Marino's movie collection. We judged it. We thought for the most part it should be in the collection. So good job, Tony.
Nice,
We'll
nice,
give you that.
nice.
We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to once again we had Intermission, Brick, Tremors, and Memento, of course. So if you like those movies, if you hate those movies, you know where you can reach us. We'll probably do this in the outro, but for now, thank you for listening, Tony.
Oh my God, Sergio, great
And
point.
Sergio's just showing a
Why-
poster of
why-
Jaws and a poster of Tremors, and it's the same thing.
Why-
Yeah,
Exact-
it's this.
That's what they went for.
Yeah.
That's totally what they went for.
Sorry, audience, just so you know, we are looking at pictures and we will post on Facebook
Yeah.
to show that these two things side by side are the exact same cover art.
Oh my God. Tremors is
Sandjaws.
Sandjaws.
One more
Writing it off on here.
Oh my God.
Tremors is Sandjaws, and if you take nothing else from this podcast, just know that. And that's going to sign us off for now. Tony, it's your place. Take us out.
Thanks again for joining us for Kick Rock's 2 Drink Minimum podcast. We were talking about Tremors, Memento, Brick, and Intermission. Take a look at all these little chicka chicka bow wow cow now, foul now, Tremors now, low wow, mento, cow, Bill Miller.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode of 2 Drink Minimum. Well, it turns out, spoiler alert, we love movies, you guys. I know, that's shocking to all of you. Tony didn't have to do quite as much defending. A lot of the random picks, we wound up doing some defending for him either way. So, you know what, though? It was a lot of fun, and I think we're going to do it again. So which Kicker Rocker should defend their movie collection next? How can they let you know, Bill? Oh, I'm glad you asked. Well, you can let us know if you're old school by emailing us, of course, at podcast@kickerrock.com. That's podcast@kickerrock.com. But we know you kids are smart nowadays and you're on the social medias. So in that case, you can go right to our Facebook page and, of course, like our page if you haven't already, and comment right on there with your pick. And or you can, of course, always comment on our iTunes page. And while you're visiting there, remember to subscribe to the podcast. We really appreciate all your support. And speaking of the podcast, this is most likely the last one that's going to be airing in 2018, I believe. So, wow, 2018 has been quite the year for Kicker Rock. We've had numerous podcasts and sketches, a handful of award-winning short films, and none of that gets done without your support. So on behalf of Kicker Rock, thank you so very much for listening, for tuning in, for watching our stuff. We hope you like it, because we're not stopping. There's a lot more coming in 2019, but thank you all sincerely. We love you all. And we wish you nothing but the best in the coming year. And happy holidays, of course. That's right around the corner as we record this. And we got one more sketch at least coming your way down the pipeline we think you'll enjoy. And, of course, there's always our annual blooper reel around New Year's, which is always fun. Sergio's putting that together now as we speak. So very excited to see that as well. So thank you again for tuning in. This has been 2 Drink Minimum. We've been drinking, thinking, and talking shop. Cheers, everybody.